In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how we install OpenTshirts.org on a hosting solution. In this tutorial, I'll be working with HostGator, which is my preferred hosting solution. Now, when you're working with OpenTshirts, we've got a very complex system. The system actually has incorporated with it a front-end design system, also a very complex back-end where we manage pricing, colors, garments, and all things associated with allowing users to design and order custom apparel and products online. It's unlike the majority of the open source systems that you'll be using because it's extraordinarily complex in nature. So having the right hosting solution is absolutely critical. If you're working with a free hosting system, odds are there's no way you're ever going to be able to set up OpenTshirts.org on that system, such as the GoDaddy free hosting and some of the other hosting solutions that are out there. If you do want to set up your hosting at hosting, use a coupon code, and the coupon code is OpenTshirts. That will get you a nice discount when you set up your hosting. I'm going to take a look at some of the things we're going to need to be working with here. First thing we're going to take a look at is FileZilla. And you can download that. That's an FTP client. That will allow you to connect to your hosting service and upload your files, or FTP, file transfer protocol, your files to the location on the server where you're doing your hosting. The other thing you're going to need, and you can get that from cnet.com, is WinRAR. WinRAR will allow you to extract the downloads so that you can upload the files and also do the installations in OpenTshirts for your products and your fonts. To get started here, we'll go ahead and start up our FileZilla. The first thing we want to do is we will have set up a hosting account, or if we have a hosting account, we'll want to go ahead and set up a site for that. So we'll go to File, we'll go to My Site, it's my site manager. Got my sites here, but I'm going to click on New Site. We're going to install an OpenTshirts.com. So my host will be OpenTshirts.com. I'm going to go with a normal login type. I'm going to type in my username, and then I'm going to type in my password. And then I'm just simply going to go ahead and click on Connect. Now what has happened here is I've just connected to my hosting, or my server, or my hosting account. And I've got a number of different files here, and it's kind of like your file structure on your Windows server. And where you want to go is you want to go into your www here. And I'm just going to right click and I'm going to select Create Directory. I'm going to call that directory version 1 because we're working with a version 1 of OpenTshirts, and select OK. Now that I've got this open, I've already gone to my OpenTshirts.org download page and downloaded all of the files that I'll need to do my installation. I'm going to go to my folder here, which is my OpenTshirts download. You can see here I've got my font installer. I've got my OpenTshirts version 1.0.2. I've got my art packs and my design ideas, and I've got my products. Now you can see that these say unzip first. So these files I'm going to have to extract. For products, I'm just going to right click here and I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call that folder Products, just so that I can keep track of this. I'm going to go ahead and left click, hold down, drag this up into my Products folder. I'm going to go ahead and right click and go again and go to New Folder. I'm going to call this Art. I'm going to drag and drop my downloaded art files into the art folder. The next thing I'm going to do is, now that I've got all of this downloaded and organized, I'm going to go ahead and extract these at this point in time, just so that I'll have them set up so that I can install them into the back end of my OpenTshirts installation. I just simply right click here and select Extract Here. And you can see that I've got all of these different installers extracted for my products. I'm going to go back to my downloads. I'm going to do the same thing with my art, right click and select Extract Here. And that's going to extract all of the files out of my art and designs download into this folder, so I'll be able to upload those and install those into the back end of OpenTshirts. While those are extracting, I'm going to go back to my FileZilla, and I'll open this up. I'm just going to move this right over here to the left. And here I'm going to go back to my OpenTshirts download, and I'm going to take a look at dragging this into my folder that I want to have over here, which is my directory, which I set up as version 1. I'll double click on that, and now that's the folder that I'll be dragging the OpenTshirts version 1.0 point to into. Just left click, hold, drag, and release here, and that will start the transfer or the upload of my installer for OpenTshirts to my hosting. I'm going to go back to my folder where I was extracting here, so I'll come here, come back here to Art, and I can see that all of that has extracted. So I've got all of my files set up in my OpenTshirts downloads folder, so I'll be able to do all of my installs and set up everything that I need for OpenTshirts once I finished uploading to my server. Once my files are finished uploading, the next step is going to be that I want to go to the cPanel for my hosting account and extract the OpenTshirts installer that I just uploaded through my FileZilla. The next thing I'll do is go ahead and minimize this. I'm going to go to OpenTshirts.com, and I'm going to go to cPanel. Here I'll be prompted for my username and password. I'll go ahead and enter those. If you need those, you'll find them on the documentation provided by your hoster or hosting. I'll go ahead and select OK. Now from my cPanel, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to go to my file manager. Go ahead and select Go here. And then once I'm inside of my file manager, that'll load all of my different files. I'll come down here to my www and select that and let that load. Then I'll come down here, scroll down to my version 1. I'll double click there. We'll go ahead and select this OpenTshirts version 1.0.2.zip, and then I'll come up here and select Extract. Go ahead and click on Extract Files. Go ahead and select Close. Go ahead and refresh if I'm working with IE, and I can see that all of the files that I needed to extract for my installation have been extracted. The next thing I want to do is go to OpenTshirts.com/version1 to run my install. So I'll go ahead and just select everything here in backspace. Make sure I've got that there, and I'll go / and I'll type in version 1. What I'm doing is through my browser, I am browsing to that folder we created, which was version 1. You can see I've got a character that I want to delete that, and I'll just hit enter on my keyboard. Now you can see what we've got here is we've got our general GNU public license, and we could go ahead and continue or start to run our install. But before I do that, I'm going to need to set up a database, because if I try to install without a database, I'm not going to be able to successfully install OpenTshirts. I'm going to go ahead and open a new tab here. I'm going to go back to my cPanel, and we're going to create a database. And I'll go here, and I'll get right back in there. Now I'll scroll down to my database or MySQL database wizard here. And I'm going to go ahead and go through the steps. I'm going to create a new database, and I'll just call this V1 and click on next step. So you can see it's my admin name _V1. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a user, and I'll call this user OpenTs. And then I'll go ahead and add a password. Now I've entered a pretty weak password, but you'll probably want to enter a very strong password because you'll be working with a live site. And I'll go ahead and delete this site after I finish the tutorial series. Go ahead and click on User, Create User. Now I can see that I want to add some privileges, and for this user I'm going to add all privileges, and I'm going to click on Next Step. Now I can see that I have a user, admin ts at OpenTs, was added to the database admin ts v1. So I'll go ahead and just highlight this, right click and select copy. I'll go back to my OpenTshirts installation, and I'll select on Agree to the license and then click on Continue. Now here we have our statuses, and if you see any red check marks in here, that means you're going to have an issue doing your installation and running the system. Here with HostGator we don't have any of those problems currently, and I can just go ahead, click down through here, and then select Continue. My directories are all writable, everything's in order. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and go back so you can see that. You want to make sure that all of your statuses are green. You want to make sure that all of these files, or these statuses and directories, are writable. If they're not, you're going to have a problem, in which case you might want to contact your host provider and see if they can help you get this set up. Most of your hosting providers will be happy to assist you with things like this. Go ahead and click on Continue. Now I have a user. I'll go ahead and Control V. Oh, that's actually my database, not my user. I'll hit Control X, come down here, database name, Control V. I'll enter my password. And then I'll go back here to my cPanel. I want to bring my user in, which is right here. So I'll just left click, highlight this, hit Control C, go back to my installation, and hit Control V for my user. Here I'll have a username for my admin. I want to enter a password here. And I'll also want to add an email. And we'll just say user at I seem to have an issue with this keyboard, but anyway, it could just be user at, there we go, user at open, take my caps lock off there, open.com or whatever your email address would be. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and click on continue, and now we can see that we've successfully installed our OpenTshirts system. Now, before we are able to upload packs, there's some things that we want to look at and verify. But first, what I want to do is I want to go back to my folder manager and delete my install folder. To do that, I'm going to go back to my cPanel. I'll go here to my file manager, select OK. I'll come down here to my version 1. I'll click on that, double click. I'll come here to install. I'll select that, and then I'll come up here and select delete. And I'll select delete files. So now I've deleted my install folder. And the reason you want to do that is because you don't want somebody to come into your site and type your version 1 extension install and then try to do an install over your install. It creates a security weakness and an issue. So you definitely want to uninstall that folder. Go ahead and close this file manager. I'm not going to need that anymore. And I'll go ahead and leave the cPanel open for now. Here I'm going to go to the administration of my OpenTshirts. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I've got admin and I've got my password. And then I'll go ahead and select login. Now, one of the first things we want to look at when we're setting up OpenTshirts is the Install Packs tab. Go ahead and click on that, and we can see that here we've got a upload max file of $9.99, a post max file of $9.99, a memory limit of 64, and a max execution time of 1800. Now, if you've got up here a max file size of 8 megabytes, you're going to have to make a change in your .htaccess document that's set up in your folder, or you're going to have to contact your hosting provider. Now, we've set up all of the install packs as being less than 50 megabytes, but if your max post size and file size are set down to like 8 megabytes or 10 megabytes, you're not going to be able to do things like install the font pack. Let's take a look at one of the ways you can do that. Go back here to FileZilla. We're going to have to refresh this page. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to select refresh, or actually this folder, so that we can see all the images. And here you see an image called .htaccess. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to download it to my desktop so that I can edit it. So I'll just go ahead and drag it and drop it here, and that will start downloading that to my desktop. Once that document is on my desktop, I'm going to double click on that, and you'll see what we have here. Now, there's some settings you can change here in this document that are going to change the way your hosting is going to allow you to work with max file size. So what I want to do is I want to go through here and just backspace on these number signs, because these are called comments, and what they do is they stop the execution of these changes relating to your hosting. And I'll bring this back, and I'll bring this back. And once this is set up this way, then you can just go File, Save back on your desktop. And if that doesn't work, also I found that sometimes you need to go File, Save As, and just call this .htaccess with all caps. I'll go ahead and save that. Yes. Okay, now once that's saved, all I need to do is go ahead and we'll close this. I've got that text file on my desktop. Go ahead and minimize these other windows here. And you can see that right there. It's the .ht access. And I guess I didn't want to overwrite that. I'm going to open up that again. Okay, File, Save As, and .ht access, all caps. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I've got that saved the way I want it saved right here. .ht, it's not access. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one here because I'm not going to need that. I'll open this again. I'll go File, Save As, and I need one more C there. Shift C, and then save. We'll go ahead and close this. So I've got this .ht access here. And what I'm going to do is I'll go to here and I'm just going to right click on this and select delete. And get rid of that older one. Then just left click, hold down, drag this one right into here. And that'll open that up and replace that. Now once you've done that, that should change your settings here in the install pack area to change your max file sizes. And some of the other settings here. Now if that is not changed and it's still at like 8 megabytes and 10 megabytes, whatever, very low upload or file sizes, you'll need to contact your hosting provider and ask them if they can change that for you, because you're not going to be able to install fonts. If I go from here now, and I'll go ahead and just right click here and select duplicate tab, and that'll connect and I'll still be logged in because I want to take a look at something. If I go from here now and I try to go to my storefront, I'm going to get an error that I don't have any fonts and I don't have any product colors installed for my system. And you'll see that here in just a minute. And as you see, I've got no product colors error and no fonts error, and that's because I don't have anything installed on the back end of my administration. So the next thing I want to do to get my design system loaded, I'll go ahead and close this, is I want to install something. So I want to go to upload here, and I want to go to my desktop, and I'll go to my OpenTshirts download, and I'll go to my font installer and select open, and that will start installing that. However, because this is 10.69 megabytes, if your upload max file size is less than 10.69 megabytes, the installation is going to fail. So that's why we want to change that .ht access doc. And also, if we can't change that through the .ht access document, then we want to contact our hosting provider. Once we finished uploading our font pack, we'll get a message from the system that declares that our font pack installed successfully. If you have an error here, once again, you'll probably want to look over here to make sure that you have the correct max file size and other settings set up, so that you aren't trying to upload something to your hosting solution that's not going to allow you to install or accept because the file is too big. Once again, we can edit our .ht access, or we can contact our hosting provider to see if we can get these settings changed. All of our installers for all of our art and products, etc., are less than 50 megabytes, so you'll need at least 50 megabytes or more set up here if you want to be able to install everything. Once I've installed my font pack, the next thing I'll do is I'll go back to the storefront and we'll go ahead and see what happens here. And we'll notice that we do get one error, and that'll be the fact that there are no product colors set up. And as you can see, we just got the error no product colors in the system. So this error is telling us that we need a product color. You can install the product packs for free from the download at OpenTshirts.org. If I've still got that up here, and I believe I don't, I'll go back here and we'll just go back here to install packs. That's been installed. I'll go to cPanel X here and we'll take this to OpenTshirts.org, and we'll take a look at where those product packs are. Come over here to downloads, and you can download those right here. And those will set up some colors for you in your install of OpenTshirts, and you won't get that error anymore. Or, and I want to close this right now, I want to go back here. You can go to your products, product colors, and we can create just one color. If you want to see how the system's going to work, you come back here and say, we'll just call this color red. It'll be a one color. That would be a medium. This would always get a white base. Come over here and click on the color. The FFF here, we'll come up here and select a red. And we'll go ahead and click off and then click on Save. And now we do have a product color. If we go to our storefront now, even though we don't have anything installed, we'll be able to load our OpenTshirts design system. And as you can see, that's loaded. So this is how we install OpenTshirts, and if you're having issues with the installation, you can contact your hosting provider. You can also go into the forums of OpenTshirts.org, and we'll be glad to assist you in any way we can. Go ahead and wrap here, and we'll continue in our next session.